What's up, Otaku fam? We are the Otaku Couple, back with more reactions here for the channel.
What's your name? What?
With more Gigguk, we got Tokyo Ghoul Deserved Better, and boy, it sure did. This is one of the more recent videos by Gigguk. We missed it, so we're gonna react to it.
Right now.
It's a good time.
Right meow?
Right meow.
Oh, man.
Thank you guys for the continued support. As always, be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and go check out Gigguk and the rest of his stuff. You will not be disappointed. And if you want to support the channel monetarily, we do have a Patreon. We react to TV shows, anime, and movies completely uncut. Links are down below in the description. Let's hop on in.
The year is 2014. Flappy Birds is increasing the global rage index by 100%. People are going a bit mental, pouring a bit of cold water over their heads. I'm working for a small little company no one's ever heard of called The Big Black Cop, and an anime called Tokyo Ghoul starts airing. This damn thing became...
That's how we're starting this. Okay.
Became inescapable. If you were on Tumblr, you'd see that goddamn edgy mask at every convention you'd go to, and the world was introduced to one of the most iconic anime openings of all time, Unravel. If Rene's Circulation was the weeb smash hit song, this became our national anthem. Come on, don't lie. At one point, I know the beginning of this song was ingrained into your brain, and you wish you could match that raspy, scratchy-ass vocal texture the singer has. You're welcome, headphone users. Well, the anime...
Thank you, bro. Thank you for that.
What in the fuck is that one?
It's free.
Why are they wearing latex pants?
It's the gay anime about swimmers.
I had not heard of that.
It didn't exactly explode onto the scene. It was one of those shows that wormed its way into anime pop culture within the last 10 years. Shit's the 8th most popular anime of all time on MAL, behind Naruto and above Demon Slayer, with the manga comfortably sitting at number 5. You've seen me...
Okay, because the manga is so much better than the anime. If you know me and have talked to me within the last 3 years in this nerdcore community that we are involved in, then you know how I feel about Tokyo Ghoul.
What?
The manga was so much better.
Really? I had no idea.
Well, now you know.
No idea.
Now you know.
Memes and manga
Never heard you say that,
spread
baby.
around.
I've always heard you say the anime was better.
From that famous...
So I need to start saying it during sex. Will that get it through your head?
No, try it.
Manga where I think Ken Kaneki said, "I am the Tokyo Ghoul." I think it goes on to more after that. And seeing all this unfold before my eyes, I always had one question. Why Tokyo Ghoul? I remember watching the anime and thinking, well, this is a decently interesting shonen show, bit edgy, but nothing I'm going to write home about. Then, like locusts, swaths of manga readers would swarm around me and proudly exclaim, but did you actually read the manga? It's so much better. And I saw Kaneki's white hair and his fabulous black nails, and I was like, okay, manga readers, whatever you say. Now, isn't there a Gigguk fan cam you should be busy working on right now? I'm just saying, Tokyo Ghoul is a deep, complex story, and Ken Kaneki is such a tragic character that nobody understands. And I take offense to that last line. It's a Jimin fan cam I'm working on, actually. And so 8 years later, way past the point anyone still cared about Tokyo Ghoul, I thought, maybe it's finally the right time to actually give this a chance, and... God damn it. The manga reader...
No, we were right! Say it, Giga! Say we were right! Exactly!
One Punch Man the Strongest is a One Punch Man turn-based
really with the One
that
Punch
is officially licensed and overseen by Shueisha themselves, where you can experience some of the most iconic scenes from the anime in the palm. You can also use promo code OPMTS to bring us today.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Back to the video. Hiding in the underbelly of society is the secret world of ghouls. Carnivorous monsters that may look, act, and sound exactly like humans, except they are stronger, faster, have superhuman abilities, but most importantly, they have a hunger they need to satisfy. One that cannot be quelled by normal food. It's a hunger that is only satisfied by
coffee
on the flesh of humans.
And coffee.
That's hot.
Ken Kaneki wants pussy. My boy's out
My
here
man.
just trying to get laid and scores a lucky date, but unfortunately for our boy, before he can start eating the pussy starts eating him. Luckily, he's saved by some falling beans, except both of them get crushed, and to save his life, the doctors thought it would be a great idea to just transplant this random lady's organs into Kaneki, without knowing that she was a ghoul. And so begins Kaneki's journey into the world.
Well, it's an interesting shot, I'm not gonna lie.
World of ghouls, as he slowly learns to accept that he has become one. On the surface, Tokyo Ghoul is a series I didn't think would appeal to me, because when I looked at the show, the aesthetics and the fan base, I went, wait a minute. Ghouls are just reskinned vampires. This is a vampire series. I'll be honest, I'm just not a big fan of vampire shows. Sure, there are definitely some cool ones, but a lot of the times it's just not my vibe.
Look, if it's not Hellsing or Rosario Vampire, keep it.
Especially the ones I see that have dark, sexy, brooding men. Oh, just look how hard this guy is.
Look at Zero! Come on now.
Oh, God.
Stop it.
I bet he doesn't have any hair on his nipples. I call them
What? I love how even back in editing, he was like, what was I saying right here?
shows, which seeing how popular Tokyo Ghoul got on there just reaffirms my preconceptions, because you gotta admit, some of these aesthetics radiate I'm 14 and this is deep energy. The type of show with a fan base you wouldn't be surprised buying a jar of corpse husband's bathwater and posting images like, there are two wolves inside of me. One wants to eat, the other wants to eat. Maybe I'm just fucking fat. And at the beginning, it seemed like pretty much that. Ghouls eat humans, so ghouls equal bad. Kaneki good, because he's fighting against bad ghouls. But when I started to really see what the story was about was with the introduction of the CCG, or the organization that was created to hunt ghouls. We get introduced to this guy, and I mean, just fucking look at him. I could put on a red spacesuit and run down the street shouting Among Us, and I would still look less sus than this guy. He's in a playground, let alone a position of authority, so when we see him taking pleasure in murdering a young ghoul's mother, we kind of start to realize, wait, are we the baddies? Before you know it, different factions start forming on both the ghoul and human side of things, each with their own philosophies of the right course of action to take. Tokyo Ghoul crafts this world where the conflict just feels organic. Every single character has a reason they're part of this fight, a part of this war, and it always feels justified no matter how scummy a person they may be. Sometimes humans are the monsters, sometimes ghouls are the monsters, a lot of the times both are the monsters, and in between there are a select few just trying to find peace in all this chaos.
Chaos.
Tokyo Ghoul tricks you into thinking this is a story of the struggles of ghouls trying to find a way to exist in a world of humans. And then halfway through, it's like, psych, bitch! Here's Tokyo Ghoul Re, where we shift perspectives to the opposite side of things and see the sacrifices humans need to make to protect themselves from the destruction and despair ghouls can bring. You can't blame ghouls for needing to consume the diets they need to survive any more than you can blame humans for defending themselves from being the hunted. In this world, there are no good guys and bad guys, just guys trying to survive in the place they were born in and are willing to fight with their life on the line to protect it. Every character has their own biases, their own prejudices, and the more you find out about them, the less you can blame them for feeling the way they do. And that's what I feel sets up what makes this series truly shine, which is Kaneki himself. Now I fully admit, at the beginning, every time Kaneki opened his mouth, I let out a big sigh and eye roll because it was a bit like...
Sounds like Deku.
But as the series progresses, you see that he's the perfect character to carry you through this story. He's someone who's born as a human that was turned into a ghoul and as such acts as the perfect middle ground between the two worlds. Here is someone who sees the twisted, unfair, broken world for what it is, and because of that he's in a constant internal battle with himself, unable to fully let go of his human side, but unable to fully accept his ghoul side. There are two wolves. Sorry, couldn't resist. The dynamic of Kaneki's internal struggle.
You're not
is, to
sorry,
me,
don't
what made
apologize
this
to
manga
me.
so compelling. Little by little, you get to see the transformation of this naive, young, whiny, annoying brat become a symbol of the two sides he represents. Tokyo Ghoul is Kaneki's story through and through, and seeing his journey and how it ties in thematically with the story being told, by the ending of Re, I could absolutely see why he became one of the most iconic characters in the world of manga. All this just because Ken Kaneki wants pussy. One thing that absolutely stands out is the art on display here. You can see Sui Ishida starting off a bit rough at the beginning, but as the series goes on, you can really see him coming to his own. Not only resulting in some legendary panels, but just becoming an absolute master at being able to portray a person's mental state. Kaneki's internal conflict wouldn't have hit nearly as hard if the manga wasn't able to so skillfully convey the raw mess of emotions people can go through. Dialogue bleeds in and out of speech bubbles, paneling loses all sense of structure. The page breaks down down just as much as the characters do. When Ishida wants to show you a character's inner thoughts, you don't just see it, you feel it. One of my favorite moments is when they introduce the concept of each CCG officer having to write a will and testament before they go off on a dangerous operation, just in case. And we spend some time just seeing a few people's different approaches. Some send a final message to their family, some just detail who gets what assets. Then we zoom in on one fresh-faced guy who's having trouble writing his. He seems nervously enthusiastic about the operation that's about to take place, and so he ponders, and eventually writes the message he wants to before we turn the page to see this. And you understand everything you need to know about what's going through this man's mind. This is why the manga is held in such high regard, but improperly handled this material, and you can very much easily misconstrue what makes this manga stand out. So, you know what? Let's talk about Edge. No, not that one. Not that one either. There we go. I'm not gonna lie, one of the biggest things that put me off Tokyo Ghoul initially is that judging from the anime and the fan base that follows it, it just seems like it's trying a bit too hard to be edgy. I think this post I found sums it up perfectly. Why do people think Tokyo Ghoul is an edgy anime? I had to ask this after I saw Mother's Basement Tokyo Ghoul video, where he said Tokyo Ghoul was edgy and that he'd rather watch Akame kill. This triggered flashbacks of how my friends would say only Tumblr, emos, or people who shop at Hot Topic like Tokyo Ghoul. I don't fall into any of these descriptions. But I do use Tumblr sometimes.
Oh no way, he exposed himself, bro.
That's fucking funny.
I often find it hard to verbalize exactly what the difference is between a story that's dark and adult versus something that's edgy. What makes something like Berserk mature versus something like Akame Kill? Both are filled to the brim with violence, have messed up things happening throughout the story, and are full of crazy, larger-than-life characters. But at the end of the day, edginess is just a feeling that you get. Berserk has one of the most engrossing stories in the history of manga. There's depth to the characters, a reason for the madness, a message at the heart of the tale that can move the toughest of men. Whereas for shows like Akame Kill, Mirai Nikki, Elfen Lied, you get the feeling that they are trying to be violent and shocking for the sake of being violent and shocking.
Exactly.
The same feeling as seeing.
Shameless plug, we did react to Future Diary over on our Patreon, and Ren had never seen it before, and yeah, it was quite the experience. The first time that she saw, you know, massacre a crowd of people.
It's exciting.
That's a word for it.
A teenager trying to seem way cooler than they actually are, but where that boundary lies can differ from person to person, and the line between mature and edgy is something that can be paper thin. Tokyo Ghoul is a series that lives on this line. It was born there. My boy Kaneki set up camp up there and is navigating like a goddamn peas artist walking down to the tune of Evanescence Bring Me Back to Life. But through his style of storytelling, Ishida manages to keep his manga ever feeling like it's gone full edge. You know, for the longest time, I saw this panel of Kaneki saying, "I am tragedy," being passed around on the internet, and I was like, oh, cut my life into pizza and give me a plastic fork because this edge is slicing me up. You know, I can't deny, with this aesthetic and style, out of context, this line of dialogue seems to fit perfectly. But it was only after reading the manga did I find out that this is a bloody parody edit. Kaneki doesn't say anything like this in the series, but it shows that all it takes is changing a few words, a few lines of dialogue for Tokyo Ghoul to fall right down there into the depths of Edgeville. I felt that Ishida managed to avoid this when I was reading the manga, but in the anime, that definitely wasn't the case. And to properly portray my point, I got to talk about one of the big early turning points in the manga, so if you haven't seen up to the ending of season 1 in the anime, then I'll be doing a spoilery timestamp on YouTube so you can skip ahead. Early on, Kaneki gets kidnapped by a powerful ghoul named Jason who would put him through a living hell. At the time, Kaneki still very much viewed himself as a human, unable to accept his ghoul side, and it would be this that completely breaks him. For 10 long, grueling days, Jason put Kaneki through some of the most unimaginably horrific torture nobody should have to experience. Body parts were cut off. A centipede was allowed to run rampant inside of Kaneki's ear. His fingers and toes were cut off so many times that his nails turned black from the constant regeneration of his limbs. And over time, his hair slowly turned from black to white from the sheer stress and trauma of the event. First, just a strand, then a patch, then by the end, every single strand was white. His mind was pushed to the breaking point, and then kept going far beyond that. And at the end of it all, with nothing left to cling on to, no hope left, he turned to this absolutely grotesque panel as you see Kaneki cannibalizing himself, eyeballs popping out, fingers clawing his face off as he finally accepts that he is a ghoul. Seeing this panel for the first time, I got such a guttural reaction of a mix of so many different emotions, and it was such a powerful, raw way to show Kaneki completely breaking down and accepting his ghoul side.
Yep.
Now, how did the anime do this?
Not well. Also want to reiterate that during that torture, he was kidnapped during his birthday. So not only is he tortured all that time and had to deal with all that, it was also during his birthday. So that's just insult to injury.
Birthday. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I don't think you're sorry.
Well, he has a nice friendly chat with Rise before having a little cheeky bite of her, and then for some reason his hair instantaneously turns white, and before he remembers to wipe the Nando sauce off his mouth, we get this.
I am a ghoul.
Now, I'm not saying this is the worst way to adapt it. I'm not.
That was the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah.
Vampire Knight's better than that. At least the edginess, like, there was consistency. It wasn't just anime.
I'll give you that.
Even saying that this is a bad scene overall, but come on, man. Can we even compare? The first time I saw this scene, my guttural reaction was, oh, you better watch out, Jason. Kaneki's in the house. Yes, this is the exact moment Ken Kaneki becomes Heisenberg.
Goddamn right.
It's small shit like this that throws off the nuance of emotions you get when you read the manga and shifts it way more into the edgy side. Because yes, having your protagonist spawn white hair and black nails the moment they get a badass, dark, brooding power-up only to have Unravel start playing is edgy as fuck, even if that song is awesome. Even at its best, the Tokyo Ghoul anime never felt like it captured the same visceral emotions contained in the manga, and may I remind you, this was the good adaptation because woohoo! Let me tell you about the train wreck that came afterwards. Right after this came the direct sequel that they called Tokyo Ghoul Square Root A, which is just... What the fuck does that even mean? Whose bright idea was this? Did they just have a chronic fear of the number 2? Somewhere out there, a mathematician is crying right now! Root A is a reference to and pun on the Aogiri Tree organization, which is the focus of the second season. A is simply the first letter of the organization, and the root is a pun on tree root, since it's Aogiri Tree. But it might be more accurate than I'm giving it credit for, because it makes about as much sense as the fucking season does. To call this season a glorified fanfiction would be an insult to fanfictions. Kaneki goes down a completely different path, making a completely anime original adaptation, except somehow stitching things together so they kinda result in the same climactic fights and events, but since they did this while removing all character motivations and moments from the manga, absolutely nothing anyone does makes sense. This is what would happen if you gave the Tokyo Ghoul manga to Stevie Wonder and asked him to recreate the events he read by removing
That's fucked up, bro. Oh no.
In the same context, by removing the small character moments, by removing all nuance in the story. Not only did the developments not make any fucking sense, but oh boy, get ready to walk down that boulevard of broken dreams because we're taking that lonely road right into Edgeville. Tokyo Ghoul is yet another victim of a...
I gotta hand it to him. His scripts for these videos are always fucking perfect. That was beautifully spoken. A train wreck is what it is, baby. Going down the boulevard of broken dreams to Edgeville. Manga with an anime adaptation that completely squandered everything that made it great. The Tokyo Ghoul readaptation tried to salvage it, but by that point it was too late. And even then, I just don't think the studios were good enough to portray the same emotions Ishida was able to etch into his manga. Do I think the manga is a masterpiece? Not quite. I think there was a quality dip in the later half of Re where everything started to feel a bit rushed, and I'm not gonna lie, some of the fight scenes are just really, really hard to follow. What a perfect reason for an anime adaptation. But even though the road to get there was messy, Ishida found a way to give a conclusion to all his characters that left me feeling absolutely satisfied. There is so much more here than the edgy Tumblr show I originally thought it was, and I'm glad I gave it a chance. Tokyo Ghoul deserved better, and I should have listened to the side of me that ignored my preconceptions earlier. Guys, I guess what I'm trying to say is, there are two wolves inside of me. One of them is a Genshin streamer, the other one streams Genshin.
I like how he's not gonna say you're right. Instead, he'll just be like, there's two wolves inside of me.
It's okay. I know I'm right.
That's how I feel about Fate.
No, one of them is a Genshin streamer, the other one streams Genshin.
That might be
There you go. Well, thank you guys for the continued support. Let us know what you think about Tokyo Ghoul, the anime and or the manga. If you've consumed both forms of media for it, let us know down below. Let us know what one of his videos you want us to react to next, and we will catch y'all for the next one. Bye.